Hello, lovely people of crypto, Web3, and blockchain. We're back on Voice of Crypto with yet another exciting live session about how the market pans out, price movement, as well as the top news in the crypto, Web3, and blockchain market. And I am your host, Varuni. I'm also the editor in chief of Voice of Crypto. And as you know, we're excited about all things crypto, Web3, and blockchain. And over this week, there have been quite a few developments in this space. The market has not at all been steady. I remember saying a couple days back how Bitcoin isn't as volatile as it used to be. And in the last 2 days, we have seen BTC rise up to almost 39,000 US dollar mark and fall down to almost 35K US dollar mark. And amidst these extremely volatile times, we see Bitcoin sort of oscillating between two key price ranges. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. The topic of today's discussion is going to be Bitcoin's price as well as the larger crypto market's price, how the crypto market is going to be looking like over the coming few days, especially this weekend. A lot, like I said, has happened in the market, and we're here to keep a keen eye on all of that. So, without further ado, we will dive straight into the crypto market. We will first take a look at the crypto market cap, and then we'll take a look at the top gainers as well as deep dive into Bitcoin price action because that is because Bitcoin price essentially leads the larger cryptocurrency market. A look at the global crypto market cap suggests a major fall of almost 3% in the last 24 hours from the 1.41 trillion US dollar mark now to the 1.37 trillion US dollar mark. We have seen a pretty massive, and this is massive in terms of relativity, because a few days back I mentioned how if the global crypto market cap is able to maintain above the 1.4 trillion US dollar mark, it would essentially push more bullish momentum for market participants. That, however, is not the case. Instead, the story or the narrative is the stark opposite of that, with an almost 3% drop in the global crypto market cap. So, not a lot to rejoice for traders or investors at this moment. The total crypto market volume in the last 24 hours were about 66 billion US dollar. They also fell by almost 10%. This 10% decrease in volume shows us that investors, traders are being a tad bit more skeptical at this move, at this point in the market. And this sort of bearish trajectory that the market has taken at the moment is largely due to Bitcoin's price fall of almost 2% in the last 24 hours. Following Bitcoin's footsteps, a lot of key altcoins have also reversed their bullish momentum. Uh, Now we can see the market is, and I hate to say this, but it is painted in red. We can see most of the top cryptocurrencies sort of trading in red. And this means that there have been, if not heavy, substantial losses for quite a few cryptocurrencies at this point. Bitcoin, the king coin, is already down by over 2% on the daily, over 2% on the weekly. On the short term time frame as well, we see an almost 1% drop. So it does mean that the weekend might look a little bit bleak for the most of the participants in the crypto Web3 space. In terms of Ethereum price action, Ethereum in fact held pretty well above the 2K US dollar mark. Now, however, uh, it has completely reversed its trajectory, down by almost 8% on the weekly, almost 5% on the daily chart. On an hourly basis, also we see Ethereum falling by almost 1.36%, which is a massive fall in terms of the time, because if we look at Ethereum's price very carefully, we can see that Ethereum hasn't been as volatile as quite a few other altcoins. Now, however, we see Ethereum price action sort of in a danger zone. We will, of course, do a deep dive into Ethereum price action as well towards the end of this section. But before that, we will take a quick look at some of the other altcoins. A big shocker coming in from Solana, which was one of the top gainers. Just yesterday, we were speaking about how Solana managed to pump it added quite a few millions to its total value logged as well as its market cap. And now Solana is down by almost 11% on the daily time frame, on the hourly time frame, and over 4% fall on the weekly time frame, while Solana has still managed to sort of maintain those 8% gains. It's not going to do much good for Solana holders at this point, looking at how the price is dropping like a stone. Cardano, again, not in a great state with over 8% daily losses, over 2%, 2.5% hourly losses, and almost 2% weekly losses. This does mean that a lot of cryptocurrencies and the price gains that they had made in the last 1 week have been reversed, especially if we look at their weekly price chart. And I always say that the best thing to do when you're analyzing price or taking a look at price is to zoom out, look at the bigger picture, and then analyze. And if we look at an a weekly time frame isn't really a big picture, but the last 1 month or so has been crucial for a lot of cryptocurrencies in terms of the bullish price momentum that they gained owing to a lot of developments in this space, including Bitcoin ETF, the recent BlackRock's filing of the Ethereum spot ETF. Now, however, that bullish momentum seems to weaken a little bit. While Solana is still up by almost 8% on the weekly chart, it's like I said, not going to do much for Solana investors at the moment, unless of course there is a twist and turn in the market, which we can expect anytime because we know how predictable the cryptocurrency market is, right? A look at Cardano also shows us that the situation is not too great for ADA. It is also dropping in terms of price on the short term price frame as well as the mid short term and the longer. And when I say longer, in this case, I mean a weekly time frame. On the other hand, a big surprise coming in from Dogecoin with over 3% gains despite the market being painted in red. We see this meme coin making decent moves in the market. Dogecoin is up by almost 10% on the weekly, almost 3% on the daily. Doge hadn't seen a lot of price momentum, but we can clearly see that the bearish momentum that the larger market saw did not affect Doge. Tron, again, not a lot of action for Tron. Thankfully, it hasn't dropped as much as much as some of its other competitors or counterparts did. But for Toncoin, that's not the case. It's also dropping by almost 4% on the daily, 7% on the weekly, 1.3% as we can see on the hourly as well. Same goes for Polygon's Matic, and Matic was doing pretty well in terms of price throughout this month, but the trajectory seems to have reversed now. A look at Avalanche's AVAX token does show us that the almost 50% weekly gains are intact. However, quite a bit of losses have been taken in the last 24 hours in the short term time frame. In the hyper short term time frame, which is 1 hour, we see AVAX dropping by almost 2%. Same goes for Chainlink and Polkadot, as well as Litecoin. So, all in all, a look at some of the top cryptocurrencies in the market, the top 20 to be precise, shows us that the market situation isn't in the favor of bulls. And this clearly wouldn't be the right time to enter the market unless you're, of course, shorting, because the sudden price drop has, of course, created a lot of opportunities for shorts and short sellers. So let's see how the market pans out, and how the long short ratio would look like in a few days. That said, we will now be taking a quick look at the top news of the top news of the day. And before I do that, I have a quick announcement for all our attendees, all our viewers. I would like to mention that, as you all are aware, we have $100 giveaway each week, wherein we give away a part of or the entirety of that sort of gift box to people who comment and leave relevant comments in our comment section. So if you have any questions for me or for any of the guests that join us, go ahead and leave them in this comment box right here, and we would love to answer that. Plus, you would stand a chance to gain from asking questions. We at Voice of Crypto believe in the power of asking questions, and aim to be we aim to be the voice of crypto, as the name suggests. So go ahead and leave relevant comments in the comment section, so that we can choose a few of you guys and give away the $100 prize that we have allocated each week. Moving on to the top news of the day, um, a few key pieces of news, of course, came with the crypto market's price and from a price angle. However, in terms of regulations, in terms of different geographies, Ukraine's officials are ready to tackle financial crimes. They came out with a few. They came out with a few. Let's say they came out with a few ways in which they are going to be tackling crime, and crypto will be dealing with crypto criminals. The stablecoin issuer Tether has collaborated with Ukrainian and Israeli law enforcement agencies to deal with that. And Ukrainian officials are saying that it is a significant step towards enhancing the country's response to financial crimes involving cryptocurrencies. And we are already familiar that in terms of financial crimes, cryptocurrencies have been at the center, especially when it comes down to terrorism and other such activities. And when we talk about that, another news that is coming in, it's coming in from Binance, wherein Binance named in a Hamas warning letter signed by the Congress. Binance has been name checked in a letter to President Joe Biden, voicing concerns about the ability of terrorist organization Hamas to utilize digital assets to finance its operations. The letter, which is also addressed to the Secretary of Treasury, Yellen, was signed by almost 57 members of the Congress, and it claims that Hamas-linked digital wallets received about 41 million, and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad-linked digital wallets received about 93 million between August 21 and June 23. This goes on to clarify that it's currently unknown how much of this is still under the Hamas control, and points out that the organization has shut down its digital asset fundraising campaign in April of this year. So, quite a few moves in terms of, I'd say quite a few moves in terms of how regulatory bodies will be performing in the coming years or months. But now let's deep dive right back into the market. And one of the commentator has rightly mentioned that the kind of volatility that we are seeing in the market is relatively normal. However, if we look at a more short term picture, if we take a look at the monthly price angle, we haven't seen a lot of movement in the market, which is exactly why this weekend dump sort of comes not really as a shock, but rather as a surprise, owing to what all was happening in the market. Nonetheless, volatility is the name of the game in the crypto market. In fact, I always say that none of what we say on these sessions or what our guests say is financial advice. So always do your own research. DYOR is the key to sustain in the market. It's the key to success in not just this market but any market. And cryptocurrencies, I always say, are a highly volatile asset class. They're a high risk asset class, so always be very mindful of investing in the cryptocurrency market. And once again, none of what I say or the guests say on these sessions is financial advice. Do your own research, guys. A quick look, however, it's always interesting to take a look at the gainers, the top gainers in the market when the market is in shambles, which is happening at this moment. And we can see that Celsius TIA token is up by almost 9%. And the weekly gains, however, are what surprise me, which is an almost 155% gain. It's also gaining in terms of the short term price. We see TIA token gaining almost 5% on the hourly time frame. a massive 155 on the weekly. Mantle's MNT token came in on the second position with almost 5% gains on the daily, almost 10% on the weekly, followed closely by Dogecoin with almost 3% gains, and Monero with a tiny bit of gains. And the rest of the tokens are only gaining about just over 1% or so. So, not a lot of altcoins were able to make significant gains during this time. However, one peculiar case is Monero. Monero oftentimes um, tends to rally or gain price when the market isn't doing as great. And this is one another instance of Monero performing well when the market isn't. So, an interesting case for Monero. And now, time for the hard truth before we close this episode for today, which is a look at the top losers of the day. And thankfully, the market isn't looking as bad. I mean, there have been times when we have seen cryptocurrency prices drop like a stone. So I wouldn't say that this is a massive loss for investors or traders in this space. However, certain tokens have definitely fallen more than others, including Casper, FTT, Render, AVAX, and Solana. The An interesting thing to note here is that all of these coins that have fallen in the last 24 hours and have noted a double digit loss are, in fact, some of the top gainers of last month. Casper, FTT. Sometime early this week, we saw FTT rally pretty well, and now FTT is back. Back in shambles, just like its exchange FTX. But no comments on that for now. A look at some of the other losers in terms of price on a daily time frame does suggest us that quite a few DeFi coins are in this list of losers. And Matic is there. We have got Sui token. It was also one of the top gainers in the last couple of weeks or so. Same goes for Thorchain's Rune, which was gaining pretty impressively. We can see that it has managed to sustain the almost 50% gains on the weekly time frame. However, not a lot to offer in terms of the short term price. Phantom token, again, FTM is managing to maintain the weekly gains, but not a lot to look forward to in the short term. Again, same goes for Lido DAO, Ethereum, DYDX, Solana, AVAX. Now, however, time for a quick look at Bitcoin, just like I promised. And we know that the session for today was whether there's going to be a bull market anytime soon. And just between between morning today and evening, because I am in a certain time zone where it's evening currently, night rather, we see a major drop for quite a few cryptocurrencies. So we are definitely not going to be speculating whether we're going to enter a bull market. Of course, we would eventually, as we approach closer to the Bitcoin halving, which is scheduled to be next year. So as we inch closer to Bitcoin halving, we would, of course, expect a very good bullish momentum for a lot of cryptocurrencies, not just Bitcoin. But the talks of a bull market right now seem useless at this point, as we see a lot of cryptocurrencies dropping in terms of price and falling below key support resistance levels. However, not a lot to worry for the larger investor base or trader base at this point, because BTC has still managed to sort of oscillate above this key support resistance level, which is a 35, which is rather the 34.5 to 35,000 US dollar mark. And as long as Bitcoin is able to maintain above the 34,500 and the 35K US dollar mark, there is still hope for a recovery. However, if there's a fall below this 34,500 mark, then we can expect BTC to drop right back, or right down to the 30,000 mark, which again would be a great time to enter the market for people who haven't or miss the chance to catch BTC below 30K. So a pullback is something that I am expecting personally in terms of a decent and sweet entry into the market. However, what happens in the market is something that we can and would not predict. And as for all our audiences who have joined today, I will quickly drop our Telegram link. That's where all the action happens, and I wouldn't want you guys to miss out on the 100 US dollar giveaway that I mentioned about in each of our sessions. We have quite a few people commenting on our live session here on Binance, especially. Thank you so much for showering so much love on Voice of Crypto and me. It's always a pleasure to hear from our audiences. And I will just right about now paste the link of our Telegram announcement channel, which you all should join. And as you guys join the Telegram announcement channel, make sure to follow all the key steps. Make sure to follow all the key steps that we have enlisted on our Telegram channel for you guys to win that 100 US dollar giveaway that I'm talking about. So go ahead, join our Telegram announcement channel, not just for the giveaway, but also for alpha from the Web3 crypto blockchain space. And we are the first ones to get a hold of top news, market action, price action, and you wouldn't want to miss that, especially in a market like this where volatility is once again back on the table. So don't miss that, guys. And I will see you on Monday. Happy weekend to everyone. Thanks a lot for joining. Some 400 people have joined our Binance Live. Thank you so much for joining our Binance Live each and every day. It's been a pleasure hosting this live, and I will see you on Monday with fresh updates. And let's hope a tad bit more bullish market as we speak. And at this point, however, there's a little bit less to rejoice about. But don't you worry, you still can earn in a lot more ways than just by trading or investing in the crypto market. And one of those is by going to our Telegram channel, Telegram announcement channel, and checking out our giveaway, Voice of Crypto's giveaway, which you guys shouldn't absolutely miss. I've already said that. And lastly, a quick disclaimer for our audiences. None of what we say on these sessions is financial advice. Always do your own research. Volatility is once again back in the market. So make sure that you make calculated moves and only bet on what you can afford to lose in this market. That's all, my friends, for today. This is going to be the final session of this week. However, I will be seeing you all on Monday with fresh updates from the crypto blockchain and Web3 market. Same place, same time, but with new news updates, of course. So don't forget to join Voice of Crypto's live on Monday. And thanks again for joining us today. Bye bye. Have a great evening, afternoon, night, and have a happy weekend, everyone.